born March 4th, 1918, near Commerce, Georgia. And my name is Reba Loggins, and I married a Deaton, and he died in 1975, and I've married to Sam Brooks in 1980.
What's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory was I had typhoid fever. I was about 4 years old. I don't remember being sick. I remember laying on a couch, on a cot, and all I got to eat was toasted biscuit soaked in black coffee. And,
you remember how old you were then?
I was probably around 4 years old.
Okay.
But I grew up then near Commerce, and we moved from there to close to Jefferson. From there we moved to Brazelton.
How do you, how many older brothers, sisters, and younger brothers and sisters? Where do you place in the?
Well, see, there was Willis A. was the oldest. Then my mother had a little girl that died. Then there was Ruth, then Owen, then Gilbert, and then me, then Idabelle, Anna Lou, and Estelle, and then Mom had a little boy that lived to be 3 months old, and he died. I was 10 years old when Irvin died.
Okay. What's your earliest memory of any of your siblings?
Well, I don't know. I can remember Santa Claus brought us all a little doll when I was about 7 or 8 years old.
What kind of doll?
Little China. Well, it wasn't a China doll. It was one that would break. Anyway, Ruth accidentally dropped mine and broke it. I grabbed hers and threw it off the front porch and broke hers. Of course, I got a spanking for that. Now it'd be called child abuse, but anyway, I got a spanking. I didn't forget. And we always had our chores. We had to do our chores. And oh yeah, I can remember long about that time too. Daddy we lived in a house where there's upstairs, and Daddy had a great old huge barrel, wooden barrel that he kept peanuts in. And to keep the rats and things, from getting into them. So I was bigger than Idabelle and Estelle. We decided we wanted some peanuts one day. So they told me, Reba, you reach down in there and get some peanuts. Well, I did. Daddy noticed the peanuts was beginning to get gone, so he set a mouse trap down there. I got caught in that mouse trap. I got caught in the mousetrap, so I didn't bother any more peanuts.
How old were you then?
Well, I was under 10 because we left there when I was about 10, 9 or 10. So I was under 10 years old. But anyway, I can remember seeing Daddy, and he had company of Mr. Gober. They'd coming up those steps 2 and 3 at a time. I let them know that I'd got caught. But anyway, well, just life just kept progressing, just like most Indian.
Did you have to work with the family, work out in the field?
Oh, yes.
What were your chores?
In the house, by the time I got big enough to stand up good, I had to help wash dishes. I dried this silverware and put it away. Forks, knives, and spoons, now they call it silverware. Regular forks, knives, and spoons. And set the table, sweep the kitchen floor. And I was telling some of them last year about my mother. I can remember long about that time. See, Daddy worked in the field. We all worked in the field. And to show you how much pride my mother had, that I try to, do some of her neatness. I miss it a lot. But anyway, every day she would have dinner on the table. We had a huge table because there was 10 of us. By the time we all got around the table. And but before Daddy'd come to the house from plowing and whatever he was doing in the field, Mom would always sweep the kitchen floor, put on a clean apron. So they lived together over 53 years. But she always, when he come to the house, she always had on a fresh, starched and ironed apron, and the kitchen floor was swept.
Do you know how they met?
No, I don't. But they was 20, 22 and 27, I believe, when they married.
Oh, okay. 22 and 27. What was your father like?
He was very stern. As long in that period of time we lived there, about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. But I was just getting old enough to hoe cotton with the rest of them. And we always had to do what the rest of them did, learn from the old ones. And Daddy never did, he wasn't one to spank. He would talk. I'd rather have a spanking than talking. But anyway, I was trying to keep up with everybody, hoeing the cotton. I went along and I keeping up, and I skipped, just go along and peck at it to keep up with everybody. Daddy didn't say a word. Got to the end of the row. He looked. He said, "Now go back and dig up all the grass in that row." Well, I was mad, so I went on. I was digging big holes in where the grass was. He didn't say a word. Got to the other end. He said, "Now you go back and fill up all them holes that you dug." That's the kind of man he was.
Huh.
And I remember I was about 16 or 17 years old when I sashed my mother. I still cry when I think about it.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Back then, all of the men and boys wore white pants and shirts. See, I had 3 brothers and Daddy, so there was 4 in the family that had to wear white pants and shirts. And we used to come in here to church during our revival. And of the 4, you can imagine how many pairs of white pants and shirts. There was no electricity, so we had to build a fire in the stove to heat the irons and to keep them hot enough. And I had ironed and ironed. I had stood there and ironed. Mama come in the room. I had the ironing board propped on the dining table and on a chair. And she come in, she says, "You mean you haven't got through ironing yet?" I was just so tired. I set the iron down. I said, "There's the iron. If you can do it any faster than I can, go to it." She reached back. She was aiming to slap me, and I stepped back out of her way. I wish I hadn't. It's the only time ever,
Why do you wish you'd let her slap you?
I needed it.
Because you had been disrespectful?
I had sashed her.
Yeah.
But she drew back. She would have slapped me, but I stepped back. See, the ironing board was between us. And the old house is burned now, but it's just over here, just across the river, between here and Brazelton. And I've always regretted sassing her.
What kind of things did y'all do for fun?
Well, we played checkers. And we played marbles. And so.
See y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Okay. See you. Huh? I see that. She's a celebrity. You saw her.
Yeah.
This week, I tell you.
We're from entertainment tonight.
Oh. Well, don't just erase everything she says about her kids.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, we'll see all of you later.
Okay, love you.
But anyway, where'd I get to?
You used to play marbles.
Yeah, and geese. I forgot what the game was. Something geese. But anyway, you played it with marbles, kind of like Chinese checkers. But let any of us get sort of milked, heaved up a little bit. As they put it up, we're not going to have no fussing. We had to quit. And every one of us could play the piano, organ. You see, we had the pump organ. And then we got the piano. We had 2 guitars, and a fiddle, and a mandolin, and 2 harmonicas. And if we'd get tired, we'd swap instruments, all except Anna Lou. She never did learn to play anything. She said, well, somebody's got to listen. And we had a male quartet, which was Daddy and the 3 boys. We had a female quartet, which was me and Advent and Nesta, 4 of us. And then we had a mixed quartet, which was the 2 boys and 2 girls. And Mama always, so whenever it come up a real bad cloud, she'd pull the curtains to. And we'd gather around the organ and piano, and we'd just play and sing till the storm was over. And so one time, I know it was before Hope and me married, and we married in 36. It was the year that we married, because I know where we was living. And
I can wait. Sure. Go ahead.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm set. There it is. 100th anniversary. Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
You're not going to be in the picture they're going to make.
They won't take you without me.
That's right. You're one of the family. Just get them taking a picture.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, stand in the middle. Where's the middle? Yeah.
Doug, you want to get a picture of this?
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Oh, you in there. I thought you would come back down. You're going to get the picture of this? This is in sound now. You're getting good sound on it.
Yeah, y'all say hello now.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's plenty. I hope it didn't break.
Hope it didn't break. I don't know whose glass that is.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You don't get in this crowd without us knowing you.
All the different things that changed since you were a little girl, like was there telephones and televisions and all the different things that have happened in your life that you didn't believe?
First television I ever saw was out at Rich's in Atlanta. Jeanette was a baby. And spent the night with Will and Elizabeth carried me to the Rich's. Saw a little television sitting over in the corner, everybody gathered around looking at it. And
What'd y'all think about it?
we couldn't believe it. And there was no such thing as a bathroom. No bathroom. When we remodeled this house I'm living in now, it's the first bathroom ever I had.
Huh.
And running water and electricity. We didn't even have electricity. Now it was a very rare treat to get a glass of tea with ice in it. But anyway, we all just a very musical family. Very happy family. We didn't have much, but everybody else was in the same boat we was in, so we didn't know we were poor people.
Where was the house? Did y'all move around?
Yeah, Daddy was a sharecropper. He never owned a car. He never owned his home, but he had 2 mules and a horse and a wagon and 2 buggies. And he'd rent the land from different people, and we'd raise the crop and give them 1/4 of it, and we'd keep the 3/4 to live on. But we had our cows, we had all the milk and butter. He'd kill 1 or 2 calves a year. We had plenty of beef, chickens. We had plenty of chickens and eggs and hogs. We had everything we needed at home except coffee and sugar. He had a syrup mill, made sorghum syrup. He had beehives, he had his own honey, and wasn't anything else we needed. He raised his own wheat to have our flour, and had plenty of corn to have our cornmeal. So wasn't anything else we needed.
So y'all just raised all